I didn't have a normal childhood because my parents were always moving around the world, and the only reason is because I have a disease. It's like it's some kind of cold that you can't get, that'll stay there forever. Anyways, so I have this cold to stay forever, and I have many memories, but this one is clear as glass. When I moved to Pennsylvania, the house was perfect. It was a 2-story house, and just like I said, it was perfect. Apparently, I thought it was perfect, but my parents after doesn't think it's perfect because, I was moving around a lot. Anyways, so after they told me about my disease, we went to the house, and all I got to do was lay in my bed, and every hour my mom would come in, give me some ginger ale and books to read. The boredom it was just really boring. And this was the most exciting thing that ever occurred. I don't remember much about this creature. His name was Mr. Widemouth. I only remember this about Mr. Widemouth. He comes up, and I said, "Hey, you look a lot like a Furby." And he asked, "What's a Furby?" I said, "It's like a little cute pet that you could take care of and feed and stuff." He's like, "Who needs a Furby when you got a real one?" And he hears my mom coming in the door, and he vanishes. My mom gives me my ginger ale and more books to read, and she left. I called out for Mr. Widemouth, and he came up from under the bed. He says, "I was just hiding under your bed. I always hide under your bed." And this didn't sound creepy at the time, but later it does really sound a bit creepy. After this happened, I thought me and Mr. Widemouth were going to be good friends. 3 days later, he asked that he got something from another room and brought a box out. He's like, "Hey, you want to juggle?" I said, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Here, we can practice with these before I can teach you myself." And brings out 3 steak knives. I'm like, "Mr. White, I can't play with my knives. My mom will kill me." And he said, but don't you want to juggle? Be a pro at this. This is easy." I'm like, "No, Mr. Widemouth." And he said, "Fine," and puts the box of steak knives under my bed. A few days later from that day, Mr. Widemouth said, "Hey, come with me." And we went. He's like, "I can't go." And I said, "I can't go out of my room without my parents' permission, without my mom's permission." And he said, No, just come on." And we go up to the attic, and we look down, and it was once again the 2nd story. He said, "See down there? There's an imaginary trampoline that you can't see, but you have to imagine hard enough. You fall off, you have to imagine hard enough to jump back up here." And I'm like, and I said, why did it have to be this high?" And he said, "Because if it was going to be that, because if it was lower, then it would just be like a regular trampoline." I said, "No thanks, I probably wouldn't imagine hard enough." He's like, "But dude," I said, "I just probably won't imagine hard enough, and I might not come back up." And he was pretty upset. Apparently my mom said that we were going to move soon, after we just moved in. And every night, Mr. Widemouth, it creeps me out now that he's under my bed, and I know about it. He always encourages me, saying, "Hey, I put down a real trampoline that you can jump on. It's regular, but you can't see it because of how dark it is." I always told him no and went back to sleep. Eventually, one day before the move out, my mom told me to go outside because it would be good for me. And I went outside, and Mr. Widemouth saw me. He said, "Come with me." And he shows me a deer trail. And he's like, "You see this? One day you'll get to go through here." And I say, "Okay." And he said, "Oh, trust me, it'll be safe." Right. And, we just go back home. Me sitting beside my dad. It looked like he just drank 5 hours, ready to go run a marathon, then sitting in a car for 2 days. He looked like he drank about like 5 Red Bulls or so. And about 10 years later, I'm an adult now, and I moved back to that place. Well, I moved back to the town, and my house wasn't there because I heard that it burned down like a few months after we moved out. Great that we didn't stay that long. But I went to the deer trail that Mr. Widdmouth showed me, but all I saw was a graveyard. All the graves were of little children